Hey, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, we're talking about Zippos. Obviously, we have a little collection here. This is the other video I was referencing in a previous video. If you happen to watch all the stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But if you just stumble across this one, this doesn't make any sense to you. But I mentioned I was going to do two different videos that were Zippo related. I did the one talking about Zippo sets, and this is the other. And the point of today's video is to talk about a problem you have with brand new old stock, okay? Or new old stock for that matter. So first, before I get into the main point of the video, I just want to show these Zippos. So I got these in the trade as well as a couple extra cases with no inserts. Now, most of these are from the mid to late 90s, so I actually recognize a lot of the designs, like right off the bat. So the first one here is a cool brass model with the Harley Davidson emblem on front. But this is one of those surprise Zippos. So when you open it, you can see we have exposed the motor here. All right, so you can see the plate covers it, so you can't tell until you open it. Now in the 90s, I had a Zippo model that did this. It had it had like a poker hand, you know, and the last card was exposed once you open it. So super, super cool. This is a brand new lighter, but it doesn't spark. It was never used. So how is that even possible? All right, because this one was from 2000, XVI. So that brings me to the point of this video. How can a brand new Zippo that's never been used not spark? Well, that's because the flint that goes in here that the wheel rubs on, okay, which would be underneath that wheel, that is what makes our sparks, but that has a lifespan. And those flints slowly deteriorate. So what happens is sometimes when you have a new lighter that's, you know, it's made sitting in the package waiting to be sold at the store, and it sits and sits and sits, and years and years and years go by, and in some cases decades go by, it just falls apart. It turns literally to dust. And that's what's happened in this Zippo since 2000. So this is purchased brand new. It was never used. It sat in someone's collection or in a drawer. Maybe it was a present or something like that. But now 23 years later almost, it just has no flint. It's turned to powder. When I first opened this, it was covered in dust, and you could still see some of that dust, even on the inside of this lid. All right, I'll let that focus a second. I'll put my finger in there. See that? That's the nice shiny brass underneath. What I did was I rubbed off the dust. It's actually flint dust, so the flint literally turns to powder. So next one here is a little tiger theme. It's funny because I do remember this one as well back in the day. Brand new Zippo. But this one is seized, okay? This wheel does not turn in either direction. And that's because this is still in the process of that flint deteriorating. So the flint has kind of turned to powder a little bit, but re-solidified, and now it's stuck in the tube, so it won't push down, all right? Now, when you have something like this, I might do a separate video on it, but when you have a seized flint, you have to just dig that out. There's nothing else you could do unless wait, you know. This lighter in another 10 or 20 years, I'm sure that the flint will deteriorate to powder completely. What's happened is it started to deteriorate, and then it got humidity, and it got a little moist, and then it kind of re-solidified, you know. So this is, it's a little bit more rare. You don't find them seized too much. A lot of times you find them like this, where they just don't exist, all right? It just falls to dust, and it's gone. Now, this is easy to fix because you just put in a new flint, and it works fine. The seized ones, like I said, you have to dig it out, all right? That's a whole separate thing. So next up here is a cigarette brand, Doral, all right, 25th anniversary, all right. This one also nice and shiny, brand new, no flint. Probably not because it was taken out, but because it deteriorated. Here's another model, all right. There's a brass model with a golden tiger on the front holding a ball, all right. Wick wasn't used, but this one still sparks. Very cool. Classic design. I've had 3 of these in my lifetime. One was in my display forever. This is a fake Scrimshaw. All right, very classic boat scene here. All right, with the clouds on the stormy seas. You can see the lighthouse in the foreground. Still has the original price tag on it. Brand new, right? And look at that. This one still sparks. So it's not something, and again, these are all very consistent with the age, okay? This one is XI, which is late 90s, I believe. I can tell you in just a second, you know, look it up. Gotta Google it real quick. XI is 1995. All right. So this one is from 2000. This is only 5 years older. No flint, right? This one here is XV, which again, late 90s. So we have 1999. All right. 2000, 99. We have no flint. We have a seized flint. And here, this one works fine. All right. So there's no rhyme or reason as to exactly how long it takes for this to happen, but it does happen. All right. Here's another Lion model here. Still has a sticker on there. No flint. All right. Different Zippo models on like a black matte finish, which is really nice, like almost like that black crackle. You could see the dust already. That's it. We have the camel one on the same finish. And it sparks. Now this one, it's hard to see, but there it was an X, all right? So let me zoom in on this. Let that focus. When they put this finish after the bottom is stamped, it's very difficult to see sometimes, almost impossible. So it looks like almost a B on the left and almost nothing on the right, but when we take the insert out, which I have to believe this is the original insert since it came from the same little collection here. Whoops, I did have it right way. So we have BX, right? So what is X? Well, zoom out here. Reference online real quick, and X is 1994. All right. So then we have Jack Daniels, classic design. This one does spark. This one is newer. This is from 2003. Then we have a really old one here. So we have 4 slash marks going to the right on the left. So 4 of those on the left and 3 on the right, which offhand has to be, I think, in the 70s. 4 on the left, 3 on the right is 1975. This is commemorating some kind of pass or bridge. I don't know what it is offhand, but these were hand painted back in the day. So some kind of canal, it looks like. Maybe you guys know. All right. A very cool older model. This one happens to spark, but this is not the original insert. And that is why. So at some point the insert was lost or damaged and a new one was popped in. And last up here we have very shiny US Army. I can get that to focus here. There we go. You kind of see that. This from 2001. And that one sparks. So yeah, just wanted to share these. I mean, obviously I want to show off some of the Zippos that I got in the trade, but also touch upon this subject of flints. Go missing completely, they get seized up, but sometimes they work fine. There's no specific time period. It's not like exactly 5 years and 8 months your Zippo flint is going to start falling apart. Who knows? I've had Zippos that were only 3 or 4 years old, and the same thing. The actual flint was deteriorating, it was just dusty, and it was barely even sparking at all. In other cases, you have lighters that are 20 or 30 years old or older, and they spark fine. So it's a phenomenon that happens, it occurs, but if you happen to buy a Zippo, especially if you're a collector, if you're buying on eBay or the secondhand market, and it says it's brand new, and it never was opened, ever, but then you go to use it, and there's no flint in there, or there's this dust everywhere, now you know what that is. It's just the old flint. All you have to do is replace it. All right, in the case of it being seized, you got to dig it out. There's no other way. So anyway, that's all. Let me know if you guys have ever experienced this. More than likely, if you bought a Zippo from a consignment shop or an antique shop or a garage sale or something, that's when you would come into the realization that there's just no flint in some of these things, but there's this powder all over the place, and you're like, what the heck's going on? Well, now you know. So that's all. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.